Hey, you watching? Are you ready to make so much damn money? Life-changing money, life-changing money. The crypto bull market is officially been kicked off with massive amounts of trading on Wall Street, $1 billion in the first hour from the BlackRock ETF. We have the Federal Reserve going to be cutting rates tomorrow. We have the Cynthia Lummis bill that is probably going to be passed. We have Gary Gensler going. The crypto markets are on fire. Your portfolios are green. Greener days are ahead. A lot of exciting things happening in the cryptocurrency space. We have so much to talk about today. Stay tuned and let's get it.
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the most entertaining crypto-focused content out there in all of YouTube, all of X. We bring the perspective don't nobody else bring here, and we bring it in a non-scamish kind of damn way. We're just excited, man. And you know what? Bitcoin is in price discovery, new all-time highs. We are in price discovery. Where is Bitcoin going to land? How high will it run? We are at $75,300 currently. And, well, we've never been in this range before. We just crossed over 75K just recently. And so, oh my God, what a day. We have a new president-elect as well. We have a Republican-dominated, not only Senate, House, and executive branch, anything and everything that gets proposed by the Republicans at this point, will probably pass if
I
it's
think the
on
more
the
important
agenda.
thing, pro-crypto Republican.
And you got a lot of bills that are going to be pro-crypto. We also have, Donald Trump saying that first day in office, he's going to fire Gary Gensler. Not exactly in his power wheelhouse, but, there's other ways of getting around that. And so will Gary Gensler see his last days? Is his days numbered? I think so. And will they replace him with, crypto mom? Maybe. And, that's bullish. And then the Fed's going to cut rates. I mean,
That's tomorrow.
What more would you want in a crypto narrative?
I
Can I open up with a chart?
Go ahead.
I'm going to open up with a chart. I haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
I haven't done this much ever. Anyways, let me tell you about this. Okay, so I have a couple things here mapped out. This right here is November the 8th of 2016.
Okay.
This was not last election, but it was a 2016 election. This was when Donald Trump got into office, right? This was election day, okay? So election day 2016, the price of Bitcoin was at $687. Well, it never went under that price again, ever. That was the forever in the rearview mirror, $600. Then let's fast forward this. We have the 2020 election. And so here, same concept here. The election day, which on this one landed November 3rd. November 3rd, price of Bitcoin, $13,000. From that day forward, we never saw a $13,000 Bitcoin. Ever.
Never.
Again. That was it. And well. Here we are again.
What are you trying to say, dude?
Here.
Are you saying we're never going to see
Here
2000?
we are again. And we, at the low point for the day, we were at 67,500, right? That was at early morning, 67.5.
Say it. What are you trying to
And
say?
so
We're never going to see 67?
we are never going to see 67,000 again.
Ever?
Ever again. Ever again.
That's it.
That's it.
No more.
And the bull market's off. Bull market has started. It's officially confirmed.
Do you truly believe that?
I believe it.
I mean, history.
If okay, and we're going to get into it in a little bit, but if Cynthia Lummis's bill passes,
Oh my God.
the United States starts buying what is going to be 1 million Bitcoin, doesn't sell what they have, How on God's earth does the Bitcoin price go under 67,000?
And I would like to note, Rocco brought up a really, really good point. Before we went live, he said, well, if that's going to happen, then what are other countries going to do, right? Here in the U.S., you have a certain process that takes a while. Bills get presented, they get voted on, then they go to the Senate, then they get it approved, and then it takes a while. If that starts to happen, right, you have countries with more authoritarian governments, right, dictators that don't have to wait for a Congress to pass a bill. They can say, yeah, you know what? We're going to go ahead and buy a million Bitcoin ourselves. We're going to go ahead and buy 500,000 Bitcoin ourselves. And so are we in the modern day arms race, right? We had the arms race with the Cuban Missile Crisis back in I believe it was the 80s. Are we seeing a digital commodity arms race with Bitcoin? And if it's true, where will Bitcoin go? I'm so happy you brought that up. I was actually, I had this on as the first thing I was going to show, but this is from Token Metrics. Trump won in 2016, Trump won in 2024. How high could we go? Robin, I want to speculate a little bit here. Now that we know that Trump will be the next president, what are your most bullish targets for Bitcoin in 2025?
2025, most bull. Okay, so I'm going to go on the bill, the Cynthia Lummis bill passes. The strategic reserve is a thing. We don't sell any Bitcoin, and per the bill.
Hold on. You've been asking for this for a long time. We officially have a new whale member.
What?
Yeah.
Does the button still work?
Well, we know the jackpot button still works. Oh, man. Big shot. There it is. Big Swole upgrading to a whale membership. We appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of you that support this channel. And so, yeah, big shout out to Big Swole. I don't know, cut you off. You're talking about your most bullish scenario for Bitcoin, the Cynthia Lummis bill.
Yeah, so if the U.S. is buying Bitcoin, well, first of all, they don't sell any of the Bitcoin they have, 200,000 plus Bitcoin. Plus, they buy 1 million Bitcoin on top of that, right? And I mean, if that starts to happen, and then you imagine the U.S. isn't going to be the only one, and if they're not the only one, other nations are following suit. I mean, there's only so much Bitcoin, right? I mean, we talk about the supply and demand situation, and it's just
the math doesn't math.
Exactly,
it's math. It's simple math,
exactly,
right?
Man.
When you have a commodity, Robin, that you can't go out and buy more equipment, buy more fields to go and mine more gold or mine more silver or whatever else other commodity you want to do or create it, it comes down to math. How many people want it versus how much of it is there?
So you take the arms race from nations and the U.S. leading the way for purchasing Bitcoin, and I mean, I can only speculate. I mean, I would say $600,000. I mean, and that's on the upper end of.
I know that sounds crazy,
price shock area, but
that sounds crazy. Let me give you a different perspective, though. Let's say the arms race happens and Bitcoin gets to 500,000. Do you think the average retail investor is going to come in, Robin, and be like, I want to buy Bitcoin? They're probably going to be pushed to altcoins, which will then.
I mean, think about anybody that has. I mean, think of it this way. Let's just say you have 5 Bitcoin, which is healthy, but there's a lot of investors out here that have 5 Bitcoin. Right? It's not some weird crazy number that there's only a handful of people. There's thousands of people out there, investors that have 5, 10 Bitcoin. I mean, if they're sitting on a $500,000 Bitcoin, you know damn well they're going to sell that and move it into some alts at some percentage. And so we always know that the profits trickle down. It's not a theory. It's not well, maybe the altcoin. No, it's fact. In the sector, money goes up in the initial asset, and then the money trickles down, right? You can't 3x the price of gold and not see other precious metals also go up, right? Maybe the returns on silver is dwarfed by gold on a percentage basis, but at the end of the day, if you were to tell me, hey, gold is going to 2x, I know that silver is going to follow as well. Maybe not perform quite as well as gold, maybe not 1 for 1, but I know damn well that silver will do well. So will platinum. So will other precious metals. It's no different here. If we know that if tech stocks start 2xing and 3xing and 5xing, if Nvidia goes up by a factor of 3x,
Nvidia just crossed Apple.
Tuesday. So basically, 2 days ago, they became the most valuable company
in the world.
And if you were to 2x, Apple, for example, we know that Microsoft is gonna have massive profits as well. And so it's just the whole sector is gonna go up. You can't have one without the other.
I have an article that we're gonna go over in a little bit later in the show that talks about the implications of a Trump presidency, and that is one thing that they talk about is market breadth, right? Instead of they always talk about the big rise in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 was a magnificent 7, right? Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, yada, yada. Market breadth, it states that the rest of them, like all tides lift boats, right? So that's something we'll talk about here in a second.
And then, speaking of the stock market, I mean, not only are we seeing healthy returns out of crypto, but I mean, the stock market is on fire right now, bro. We have Dow Jones up 3.45%.
Holy shit. It's up
Dow Jones
1,500 points.
Dow Jones up 3.45%. S&P 500 over 2%. The Dow Jones, that represents
guys, I know real quick. I know 3.5% seems small, but we're talking about trillions of dollars of value that is added to the markets.
So Dow Jones, more of an industrial basket. I think a lot. The Dow Jones is rallying because first of all, it's made up of like blue chip, safer picks, heavily weighted in industrial sector. So, jobs here in the U.S. are reflected in homegrown jobs in the U.S. are reflected by the Dow Jones. But Nasdaq's up 2.78% as well, which is a monster number. There's one thing I wanted to point out, though, David. NASDAQ is beautiful, right? Like NASDAQ represents tech stocks generally, more risk on.
Someone said gold is crashing. Is that true?
I haven't looked at gold just yet, but hold on. But the Russell 2000 is up 5.5%. My God. And if anything, it really represents investor sentiment when it comes to risk on. It's Russell 2K. Russell 2K is made up of small companies, higher risk on plays. And if the Russell 2K is up over 5%, I think that it's a signal that people are going risk on. They want to invest in small cap stocks, and you know what you're doing when people start investing in small cap stocks. We know where it's going, bro.
Holy shit! Look at this.
What do you got?
Look at this. Coinbase stock up 31%, $60 on the day. Guys, investors are saying, we feel comfortable getting into crypto. We feel comfortable getting exposure to Bitcoin and altcoins. You look at a sector that's absolutely rallying right now, it is DeFi. Uniswap is up over 25%. Aave is up over 25%. Injective is up over 20%. Phantom is up big. And so the market's telling you we are ready to go risk on. And might I add, the trillions of dollars that is sitting in money market funds that's been collecting 5.5% interest as the Fed cuts rates, as more people go risk on, as you see right here on your screen, this is just one microcosm. That money, Robin, is going to flow back into risk on assets. And my bet is 15 to 20% will find its way into Bitcoin or crypto.
And then
it's going to be massive.
Take a look. I got gold pulled up. You have
another indicator. There you go.
Gold up.
Down
2.68%. And so this is surprising. I mean,
This will be the
the Dixie's up. I think that what we're seeing is that investors are confident that the dollar will strengthen. And I think that gold, which has been a hedge against a weakening dollar, is down. But yet Bitcoin's up. I don't know. It's a lot of mixed signals.
No, Robin. This is telling you people are going risk on.
That's what I mean.
People are going risk on. I think some of it has to do with the dollar, but I think a majority of it is we're about to see a massive boom in the American economy. And man, crypto is front and center, guys. There's so many things. And I don't know about you watching, but I've been in the space for a very long time. The last 2.5, 3 years have been an absolute drag. Spending the last 1 year watching Bitcoin go bing bong for 9 to 12 months.
And Bitcoin's right at $75,450 right now. So we are in a price discovery. How high will it go? Will we get to 76,000 today before the show's over? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. How high do you think the price of Bitcoin will go by the end of the day? Today's going to be a chat-centric day, right? I want to include all of you. You guys have been along for this whole ride. We've been through this bear market. I think that this isn't overhyped, right? It's not, we don't have a bad case of the FOMO, right?
I think we might be underhyped.
You think we might be underhyped? Okay, that's where I'm at. Because sometimes I got to reflect on myself. I'm like, well, am I just too bullish for some weird reason? Or am I drinking the Kool-Aid? But I think, honestly, it's, how high does this go? First of all, let's ask the chat. We're gonna have a lot of back and forth with the chat today. But I want to know, how high does this go? Do we hit 77,000 today by the end of the day? Put a 1 in the chat if you think we get to $77,000 Bitcoin today. Put a 2 in the chat if we don't get that high. I want to know where you guys think. Do me a favor. Let's all participate here. I want chat. I want to see the chat just explode. So even if you don't really care to answer it. I don't care. And put a 1 or a 2 in the chat. Will we get to 77,000? Put a 1 in the chat. If we're not going to get quite that high, put a 2 in the chat. I'm curious.
Am I crazy to think that the next 4 years are going to be up and to the right? That we're not going to get your traditional 70% bull market drawdown?
I mean, if
help me out here.
Bitcoin, okay, if Bitcoin,
because I'm leaning that way. I'm honestly leaning that way.
I'm not. But
why are you?
But I think if Bitcoin's price gets to that $500,000 Bitcoin in the extreme bullish scenario where you have an arms race, the U.S. is buying. The U.S. is if Cynthia Lummis's bill passes, which she's a Republican, she has the bill already drafted, and so it's going to come up for a vote. I don't see how it gets turned down. And so within the next 6 months, I would say you're going to find the U.S. buying Bitcoin. And they have to buy 1 million Bitcoin over the course of 5 years. That's 200,000 Bitcoin a year. That's what the United States will be purchasing. And if you buy 200,000 Bitcoin in the middle of a bull market, I mean, $500,000 Bitcoin, it's almost like a no-brainer. I mean, in that scenario, and then you also throw in other nations, I think $500,000. And so for that said, I do think that at some point the market gets overbought and it corrects. And I do think we go from 500,000 maybe down to 180,000. And so to answer your question, is that the big crash? $180,000 Bitcoin is the bottom? Maybe. The market's gonna correct. Robin, the markets don't go up without correction.
But Robin,
you agree, right?
Yeah, of course the market.
So then what is the?
But I said 70-80% drawdowns. Think about. I
mean, from 600,000 to 180 is 70%, 70-80%.
I don't see that happening. Look at last bear market. What kicked us off? Terra Luna, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Can I make the argument to you that with a Republican-controlled House, Senate, and presidency, and a pro-crypto commissioner at the SEC, we're probably going to see some regulation that's not going to let
But
things like that happen.
What'll happen in 2 years, though? You're going to have the midterms, and more than likely, the Republicans will lose seats.
Still 2 years.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
2
but that's
years.
also coincides with where you would expect the bear market to come. And so, if Republicans come in, if Republicans lose seats, Democrats gain perhaps the Senate back. Maybe things stall. And I'm not
Things
sure.
usually stall when you have a split Congress, right?
I can't write off history, bro. Just like you know what, we put in an all-time high with every election, or we never crossed under the election day price of Bitcoin. You go back to 2012. I know we started the show off, but it's true for 2012 also. I know 2012 was in its infancy, but if you take a look here. Back in November of 2012, where was she? Here, it was like November. Right here, this also signaled the last election. And so about right here. And so, history has just repeated itself over and over again on this election day. And I don't see a scenario where the trend is broken. And at the same time, I don't see a scenario where we don't get a pullback. So I don't know. Anyways,
I was like, "What is he? Why are you making it?"
Those are all the election. We open up the show with that, and so election day, we have just never crossed down below that price. Not in 2012, not in 2016, not in 2020, and I don't think it's going to happen again. And with that said, I also think we do get pullbacks. I think that
I agree. I just don't know if we're going to see 70, 80. I don't know. Guys, an absolutely massive day for BlackRock today. Will these be buys or sells? We're going to have to wait and see. But they passed $1 billion in trading volume 20 minutes after the markets opened. 20 minutes, $1 billion. I think that number got up to $2 billion within the first hour. That is one ETF issuer, which is BlackRock. We know we have 10 other ones. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF hit over $1 billion in trading volume just 20 minutes after the market opened, smashing expectations as investors poured in. Man, you said 76 by the end of the day, or what did you say, 77?
77, yeah. And we had if majority people put one in the
Robin,
chat.
if we see massive inflows, if these were mostly buys, we're going to see an 80K Bitcoin by the end of the day.
I think so, huh?
Yeah. Again, numbers, right? Math. It's pretty simple. I do want to share this. We have a lot of obviously reactions from the media here in terms of the election yesterday. Here is Mike Novogratz of Galaxy Digital on CNBC this morning. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
We should also mention that crypto prices, they are surging right now. This after Donald Trump's electoral victory. You're looking at Bitcoin at $73,000, almost $74,000 this morning. At one point, it was, I think, even marginally higher. Want to bring in Galaxy founder and CEO Mike Novogratz. Mike, I believe that you were supporting the other candidate, but I'm curious, as you see these markets moving the way they are, what your reaction is.
Listen, it was a great night for the crypto industry, right? And if you listen to your last guest, Donald Trump, that keeps his promises. If you go back to the speech he made at Nashville to the crypto community, his agenda is very pro-crypto. J.D. Vance is pro-crypto, Peter Thiel, Howard Lutnick, Kennedy. He surrounded himself by people that believe in the industry, care about the industry. The crypto community showed up, right? There are now over 240 congressmen who, the crypto pack thought were pro-crypto. And so we've got a Congress that is moving our way. We've got a president that's moving our way. And so for Galaxy, for the crypto industry, I couldn't be more optimistic.
And in terms of your optimism, it relates to the way this is going to be regulated, because now you have a bet going that there will be a Bitcoin reserve for the country. Sort of.
Listen, I'm not sure we end up
play
getting
out the permutations here.
I think the biggest thing is the OCC, the FDIC, the SEC, the regulatory chairs getting direction from a president and a secretary of Treasury that says, hey, we want to lead in this industry. Those three positions with someone who's open-minded to crypto and who's pro-crypto changes everything. Allowing State Street and Bank of New York to custody crypto, allowing the banks to hold it on their balance sheet, will bring in billions, hundreds of billions of participants into our ecosystem. And all of a sudden, we'll start seeing decentralized systems launched and work. And so this is really a step change shift. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, right? You don't get a new SEC chair in a week. But over the next 1, 2, 3, 6 months, as these new people are put in these positions, I think you're going to see a substantial shift in the energy of this industry.
And then real quick, Bitcoin, $75,560. It is still moving up and to the right. Here we go.
Don't be surprised, guys. Do not be surprised if we get a Christmas present from Gary Gensler on his way out, just like they did. Jay Clayton did with XRP back in 2020. On his way out, he dropped that lawsuit. Don't be surprised. But it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. You know why? Because the next person that gets in there, there's all those frivolous lawsuits.
Especially if Esther Pierce gets in there, I think she's just gonna, everything will be a moot point as far as ongoing litigation. I did want to give a little love to the chat. If you are new here, say hello. We'd love to give you a little shout out. We got ICP Alpha, also Stormy, Jeff Hanks, D-Tang, Demetrius Moonwalker, Back in Black, Antonio Oss, The Smith, Larry Rocket, Sam Alk, Hot Firin, O Camino, Just Some Guy, Fernando Sicko,
and EK.
And also we got EK. And then Investing Bros is up in here, friends of the channel. And so to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Also, we're going to get a second whale member today. Is it possible? Can we do two?
Now you're getting greedy.
Can we do two in one day?
Now you're getting
Can we do two?
Now you're getting greedy. You know who else is about to start getting greedy? Nation states. From David Bailey, founder of Bitcoin Magazine. Many nation states are about to start making moves into Bitcoin. I'll share that video in a second. This is from Cynthia Lummis. We are going to build a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This is the bill that Robin mentioned. To establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve and other programs to ensure the transparent management of Bitcoin holdings of the federal government to offset costs utilizing certain resources of the Federal Reserve System. Titled the Bitcoin Act, which they love acronyms over there in Congress, Boosting Innovation, Technology, and Competitiveness Through Optimized Investment Nationwide Act of 2024. The global financial landscape is rapidly evolving, with digital assets playing an increasingly significant role in the world economy. Bitcoin has demonstrated resilience. She goes on to say, just as gold reserves have historically served as a cornerstone of national security, Bitcoin represents a digital age asset capable of enhancing the financial leadership and security of the United States. The acquisition and long-term storage of substantial quantities of Bitcoin by the U.S. can strengthen the financial condition of the United States, providing a hedge against economic uncertainty and monetary instability. This is coming. Again, the House, if they retain the majority with Republicans, they could put any bill up they want to vote. And then once it gets passed, it'll go to the Senate, which also is Republican held, which we could assume that it'll get passed if it has enough partisan support. I got a couple things I want to share here also. A couple of funnies. Kamala lost so bad, FEMA just sent her a check for $750. Robin, I hope she knows she does have to pay that back. We also have this from Tim Walls. This is interesting.
The fourth quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball. We're driving down the field.
Michigan at the 41. What a hit! Ball's free on the ground.
I'm sorry. And then, man, this is.
And then also, I also have. We got Michael Saylor over here as well on X. Yeah, we have a Bitcoin president, says Saylor. And so you have a picture of the White House with the flag. Also, Cynthia Lummis, I think she's going to deliver on that bill. Really bright future. She woke up today with the laser eyes and also retweeted, we're going to build the strategic Bitcoin reserve. And so it's refreshing to see her retweet this, basically affirming that it's still green light, all systems go for Bitcoin strategic reserve.
Man, if this is your, I'm curious, if this is your first full cycle in crypto, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. I'm just curious to see how many new people we have in here.
And for the veterans, put a 2 in the chat. If you've been through this ringer before, put a 2 in the chat. If you're new to crypto, put a 1. If you've been here,
can you do a number for every cycle? First cycle 1, 2 cycle 2, 3 cycle 3.
Yeah.
So
If you've been around for the 2016, 2017.
Yeah, how many cycles have you been around? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Put those numbers in the corresponding numbers in the chat. I want to share this from Matt Hogan, the CIO of Bitwise, who's been on our show before. I'm going to actually look to bring him back. It's been a while, but this is what he had to say.
Oh, there's the wheel.
The Wheel of Doom. What do they used to call the Xbox ones?
Ring of Death.
The Ring of Death or the
Ring of
Circle of Death or something? Here we go.
Good morning. Crypto markets are rallying sharply this morning after last night's landslide election, which installed Trump in the White House and elected a very pro-crypto Congress in both the Senate and the House. Bitcoin is at all-time highs. Other assets like Solana are rallying even further. I have 3 big takeaways from last night's election. The first big thing is we are entering the golden age of crypto. For the last 4 and indeed the last 8 years, crypto has been operating with 1 or maybe 2 arms tied behind its back. It's faced aggressive persecution from the SEC, multiple lawsuits, and a regulatory cloud that kept mainstream out of crypto. That is going to be washed away, in my expectation, in the first 100 days of the new administration.
Wow.
And we're going to get a fair, balanced playing field where we'll see what crypto can do. That will mean stablecoin legislation, it'll be market clarity legislation, and most importantly, it will remove the cloud hanging over crypto and allow institutional investors to evaluate it for what it is. From my perspective, that's going to be more flows and more adoption and a strong bull market for years to come.
For years to come, that's what I kind of said.
The second thing to remember is that we were already in a bull market prior to last night's election, with multiple significant catalysts pushing us towards all-time highs. We had record institutional investment into crypto. You can see that in the $23 billion of net flows into Bitcoin ETFs this year, which, by the way, I expect to accelerate in 2025. We had the effect of the Bitcoin halving in April of this year, reducing supply in the market. We had record fiscal deficits. U.S. debt is now $36 trillion and adding $1 trillion every 100 days. And I don't expect that to slow down in a new administration. We had real-world use cases emerging like stablecoins and prediction markets and gaming. And we had blockchain technology improving at an accelerating rate. I was already very bullish before last night's election. Now I'm the most bullish I've ever been.
He goes on to say, not all crypto projects are created equal, but he kind of laid out like, guys, this is kind of what everyone's been talking about. This is what we've been talking about for the last 2 years. We just a little nudge, right? And I think last night was that nudge.
Yeah.
I mean, just if you have any doubt as to what people are saying, look at how the markets are speaking. What are they saying? Gold is down, Russell 2K is up, NASDAQ up, Dow Jones up, Bitcoin all-time highs, DeFi projects are up, the entirety of the crypto space is up. I mean, I don't know what other evidence people need. We take a look. I mentioned some of the biggest gainers. I mean, take a look at this. This is very DeFi heavy, right? Outside of Nero over the last 24 hours. Uniswap up 28%. Lido DeFi up 27%. Aave DeFi up 25%. Injective DeFi up 21%. Radium DeFi up 18%. What are the markets saying, Robin? We know that President Trump launched the World LibertyFi, the project, right, which is considered DeFi. They're working with Aave. I think this is the one sector where people understand there's a lot of potential there, but they weren't sure what was going to happen with regulation. I think what the markets are telling us is that DeFi is going to be a massive narrative in 2025 and beyond. I know that's something you've kind of been harping on for the last, 6 months.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to go down that same rabbit hole. Crypto was built for DeFi. I wholeheartedly believe that. That's what the Bitcoin white paper was about. Was peer-to-peer transfer of value, right? And at its core, that's why we started crypto as DeFi, and so that's what it does best. I will never, ever. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years from now, going to fade DeFi. It's going to be the strongest growing sector in Bitcoin, and it would be like, hey, you know what? Let's talk about the private sector money and ignoring credit cards, right? Like, hey, like everyone's going to have their own personal way to borrow money, and it's going to be on a plastic card. Like, I feel the same way about DeFi. Like, hey, we're talking about finance, and we're talking about personal finance without institutions, and I think that it's just done way more efficiently without middlemen in there. Anyways, not going to go down that one. But what I want to say is that my big takeaway from what Matt Hogan was saying is that the markets are changing, right? And that we're in the middle of a bull market, and that, well, money's moving into the ETFs. And he obviously with Bitwise has an ETF, he has a product. And so the days of exchanges are gone. So I think that Wall Street's going to lead the way, and then they're going to get this thing started, right? The ETFs are going to lead the way. The inflows are going to be there, which is going to take Bitcoin to 150,000. And then it's going to be kicked off by nation states, then by the U.S. government. And that is the second stage. And then the third stage, which unfortunately happens every time there's a cycle, is that retail will come in last. Retail will come in and be the exit liquidity for overbought institutions, or for overbought Bitcoin at its height will be purchased.
Now, you say that, but I want to throw a caveat. The people watching this show right now that have an allocation, you are not those people.
No.
We're talking about the people that are still on the fence, the people that are still bad-mouthing crypto. Eventually, they'll come around. The problem is, as Robin mentioned, they'll come around the top. And yes, institutions, people have been here for a while. They'll sell into those buy orders. They'll be the exit liquidity.
Profits.
But the good news is, historically, through the existence of Bitcoin, I saw a comment in here from one of our community members. They were here for one cycle. They bought the top last cycle. And guess what? Hey, buddy, you're in profit right now.
Yeah.
You bought the literal top in 2021. 3 years later, you are in the green. You are in the green. And so the same thing's going to happen in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. The same thing will happen 4 years after that. It's just a cycle of Bitcoin, which is why we always say don't sell your Bitcoin. Don't do it. Don't take the L. You will make your money back plus some.
I just want to give a little love to the chat. Still a lot of new names here, a lot of new faces. If you have not typed anything in the chat, do something. And that way we can give you a little love back at you. We got T. Taka, Corey writes, RB, Zach Martin, Mauricio, also James Pham, Garden Warrior, IMJ, Wyatt Fett, K Double, Matter Mara, M2550, Mark Ryan, also Sobi, Toby, Antonio, Charles Z, ICP King, to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. And then let's do, in true Sin City fashion, put an hola in the chat. We like to spam our own chat here. We have a record number turnout today of, a local top, 350 live viewers. I know it's not
record,
a record, but local top.
Do you remember what our record was?
I think it was like 800.
No.
What was it?
It was when I streamed from my house when FTX went down.
Yeah.
We got up to 1,300 live viewers. And guys, this is when we had sub 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And so I get a text from Rocco. He's like, dude, we're at 1,300 viewers. Holy shit. And so we expect those numbers to grow exponentially as the crypto market.
Put an hola in the chat. We got over 300 live viewers. So we should see at least, 200 holas?
No, probably 80.
80 holas. No. Put an hola in the chat. Let's, we like to spam our own chat. YouTube says, hey, what's going on over here on this channel?
All right. Let's move on. Pro crypto candidates dominate 2024 elections as Trump reclaims presidency. So, data from Stand With Crypto reveals 247 pro-crypto candidates won seats in the House of Representatives compared to 113 anti-crypto members. The Senate also shifted favorably, with 16 pro-crypto and 10 anti-crypto candidates securing victories. Some of the key Senate races, the big one here was in Ohio with Republican Bernie Moreno, which is a crypto advocate, defeating incumbent Sherrod Brown. Now, if you don't remember, this guy was real close buddies with Elizabeth Warren. He is known for his strong anti-crypto stance, was seen as an obstacle to crypto-friendly legislation as chair of the Senate Banking Committee. So the same position, I believe, that Elizabeth Warren hold. No, that's different. I'm thinking about the House of Representatives. My apologies. Anyways, also in Montana, Republican Tim Sheehy secured a win with 53.2% of the vote, defeating Democrat John Tester. If you're not familiar with this guy, this is his stance. The gentleman on the right here, this is John Tester. He just lost, and he is now out of the Senate. These are his views on crypto and Bitcoin.
Speaking of perhaps not liking Congress when they find out how many members of Congress took crypto money, let me ask you this. You've used some colorful language to describe crypto. You're not alone here. But should the government be regulating it or banning it?
Look, I one or the other. I mean, I have not, it's not been able to pass the smell test for me. I have not been able to find anybody who's been able to explain to me what's there other than synthetics, and what means nothing.
Air.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem is that if we regulate it, and I pointed this out to some of the regulators here a week or two ago, if we regulated it, it may give it the ability of people to think it's real. I think it's, truth be known, my personal thought, and I'm not a regulator and I'm not a financial person that does regulation, but I see no reason why this stuff should exist.
That guy is gone. See you later. No longer here, unburdened by what has been. And so instead of him, we're getting a pro-crypto candidate. Also in Pennsylvania, the race remains tight with pro-crypto Republican Dave McCormick leading narrowly over Democrat Bob Casey Jr. And so, I mean, this is... it was so hard not to find any bullish news today, you know? Also, here's an interesting one as well. How Trump could change crypto. This is from CoinDesk. A lot of interesting things in here. So the first thing to highlight is Bitcoin to 100K and beyond. I think this is a moot point. I think we all believe it. Me, Rob, Rocco, I know you in the chat, you probably believe it as well. So we'll skip over that one. But this was interesting. Good for Tether, less so for Circle. I know there's been a lot of FUD, a lot of worries that Tether would be in the crosshairs of the Treasury Department, of the OCC, of the FDIC, of the SEC. Well, that's really not going to happen. You know why, Robin? Because Cantor Fitzgerald is the bank that banks Tether, and guess who is in charge of Trump's transition team? The CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick. And so that can be put to bed as well. The whole if Tether crumbles, the markets are going down to 15K. Good for Solana, less so for Ethereum.
No, Matt Hogan did say that he's going to have progressive legislation for stable coins. And I mean, that's the fuel and the backbone of
the markets.
And then also, I think is going to change, just on a side note here, is the crypto landscape for the US, right? If you've ever been to any conference before and you've sat and talked to anyone that runs a DeFi program or an exchange, it's always the same conversation. Like, oh, well, the US, it's we do this overseas, not really a product for US, so we're scared of getting. That's all going to go out the window, I believe, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
And so, you're not, I think the hub of crypto is going to shift away from Singapore and Hong Kong, and I think it's going to be built here in America. I think that the exchanges are going to be U.S. based, U.S. regulated. I think that the regulation is going to be very positive for crypto. And, you have a change at the SEC. No longer are we going to have the threat of getting sued, Wells notice. That's all going to go away, man. It's all going to go away. And I think that crypto epicenter changes and moves from overseas, and it comes back here to the financial mecca of the world, which is the New York Stock Exchange particularly, but more or less the broader U.S. And I think that you're going to have a multitude of apps that just you can download on your phone and just go through all the native assets, right? No, the days of downloading Binance.us.
I need a VPN.
Downloading Binance.us, and you have what? 10 different projects you can buy there. And by the way, Binance.us has been forced to shut down. You can't even unload money on and off there. The app is still existent, but nobody uses it. Same with KuCoin. The list goes on, and then they've pretty much hamstringed Kraken. You can still use it, but it's very limited to what they would like to offer. You got derivatives in there as well. You got synthetic stocks that are going to be represented on there. And so the shift is going to move away from overseas, and it's going to come here. So if you were watching here in the U.S., you were about to be front and center. You're going to have a field pass. You're going to have sideline tickets, backstage passes to the world's greatest concert, the world's greatest show, game, whatever you want to call it, which is the 2024-2025 bull market, which is going to melt faces. Also, speaking of melting faces, Bitcoin moving up $75,600. So we are inching that much closer to that $76,000 range.
Stock market closes in about 1 hour, hour and a half. We'll see what the numbers come in. It'll be interesting. So back to this article here. A couple of things it highlights. Next thing is good for Solana, less so for Ethereum. Now, what's the thesis behind this? A more accommodating SEC also means that Ethereum is unlikely to remain the only smart contract platform to have a U.S. spot ETF for its token or have regulatory clarity around its status as a commodity. It's saying that people are going to rush to file for Solana ETFs. Could a Solana ETF be the next one? Will it be XRP? We know the applications are in for both. It'll be interesting to see, but either way, it'll take crypto more mainstream, more market breadth. This is what you were talking about. I mentioned this earlier, meaning more stocks will enjoy larger gains. So this is from Andy Bayer, the managing director at CoinDesk, said this time last year, hopes for Bitcoin ETFs drove markets and sentiment higher with Bitcoin in the lead. This year, the hope is for better regulatory rails that will lead to broader adoption of a wide variety of digital assets. Fast Layer 1 and Layer 2 blockchains and DeFi stand to gain as the market senses better market structure to promote growth opportunities. DeFi to benefit, led by Uniswap. We're already seeing this in the numbers. His campaign, this is from Sharia Malwa, also at CoinDesk. His campaign indicated a move toward reducing the regulatory burden on crypto, speaking of Trump's campaign, potentially making it easier for DeFi platforms to operate within the United States. And then the last one, goodbye, Gensler. Any commentary on these right here? Anyone that's more important than the other? More ETFs, more market breadth, DeFi.
It's all homogenous, right? It all moves together, right? Basically the brakes being put on the SEC, I think, is the immediate catalyst for institutions, right? I think it's the immediate cause for us to say, hey, this industry can grow. And you know what? Let's onboard the next wave of users. Also, the next wave of users include institutions and also retirement funds, pension funds, nation states, central banks. That's the next stage of users. I think with the SEC, as long you think Gary Gensler's out within the first month of.
Just to be clear,
Trump
cannot fire him.
Yes, but
he could be swayed out. Some say pushed out. But technically, if he wanted to, he could still be there for another, year?
2026.
2026. So, but again, Congress will now have the power. And so they can shut him out. They can shut his ass down real quick.
Congress, yeah, now that you have, good point. Now that you have Republican-led House and Senate, if there's
if Gary Gensler starts getting out of hand,
I think is it impeachment? Is that how they get him out? I'm not exactly sure the process, but I know Congress
they would
remove him.
You know what? Because it is an appointed position, I think he can be impeached.
Yeah, I know there's. I think it's impeachment. I haven't looked into it in a while, but there's a process to remove him. I think it's
it is impeachment.
So,
which they could because they have the Senate.
And if Trump gets up and says, "Hey, we want to get rid of Gary Gensler," and he calls to arms the House and the Senate and proposes an impeachment process.
That's a really good point that Kevin Parsons brought up. He can withhold funding for the SEC. Right? They can withhold funding from the Securities and Exchange Commission if they wish to do so with control of Congress.
Honestly, I think if he just stood up and said, "Hey, I asked for the resignation of Gary Gensler," I think that in itself will probably do it.
You think so?
Hmm?
I don't know.
And then he's going to follow it up with threats, and maybe the threat says, "Hey, we'll withhold money." But I think if he just simply says, "Hey, I'm calling for the resignation of Gary Gensler. We will enact impeachment, articles of impeachment or whatever the process is. But just please leave quietly." I think that works, man.
It'll be interesting, but either way, it's the narrative has gone from we have very few options to now we have a lot of options, right? The very few options as well. We can go to court and fight it and try to win. Now we have impeachment. Don't fund it. We have bills that could be potentially passed. You have the president calling for his resignation. And so things are looking really, really good for the entire space from a regulatory standpoint, from an investor standpoint, from price go up standpoint, from all standpoints. And so it's pretty awesome. We take a look at the markets where we are. Let's take a look at a Bitcoin chart, just an absolute boner candle here. This candle here is almost
real quick. I did want to.
This afternoon, I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we'll get it done. If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. It's going to be. It's not going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way. And that's what's going to happen. I pledge to the Bitcoin community that the day I take the oath of office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's anti-crypto crusade will be over. It will end. It'll be done. It'll be done.
That's...
On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler.
There it is!
A new SEC chairman.
Yeah! Get him out of there.
It wasn't so long
interesting,
ago.
that clip, obviously that happened in Nashville, but mined, minted, and made in the USA. Let's take a look at how are the Bitcoin mining companies doing. Marathon Digital is up 20% on the day. Riot is up 23% on the day. If we look at CleanSpark, CleanSpark is up 22.5% on the day. The markets are saying, we believe it. We want a piece of it. We want to make money from it. And I honestly think if we look at the downstream effects of bringing more miners here in the U.S., you're essentially outsourcing the building of infrastructure. We know these miners are always looking to maximize profits, reduce their overhead. And so if they can find places, we know they've done this before, places where that methane is just seeping into the atmosphere, they can capture some of that, use that to mine Bitcoin. Building out the infrastructure here in the U.S., I think it's a win-win-win for everyone. We take a look at the rest of the markets. I was at the Bitcoin chart. We saw the reason this candle is hollowed out here. This is from our liquidity flow index indicator. This is a custom Sin City crypto indicator. It does three things. One, tells you where the money flow is going. So now we see money flows were red, but we're about to flip. This is a histogram down here. We see where the sentiment is. Sentiment is obviously good. Sentiment is trading above our midline and it's pointing up. The third thing it does is it shows you what days or what candles have had mass liquidations. And it does that by hollowing out these candles, which we see here. Massive amounts of liquidation happen in this daily candle, which still has about 4 hours to close. Shorts got absolutely destroyed. We've had a spike in volume we haven't seen, Robin, going all the way back to March of this year. And what happened in March of this year, Robin? Bitcoin went to all-time high.
Yeah, that's right. Then real quick, just a little love to the chat. Quick intermission. For those of you that are new, say something. We'll give you a little love back at you. We got Blind Chick, Papa, Kenneth Lodge, Will Carter, Roy Boy, LOL, something, ICP Power, Vic Law, Pip, George Alexander, and Pha Young, JJGG7. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. GG said, what is the massive news?
I don't know.
A bullish president, Fed rate cuts.
Look at that face in the American flag.
New all-time highs. DeFi is exploding. Doge is at 20 cents. The Bitcoin reserve, the U.S. controls, the Republicans control Senate, the House. They can pretty much pass any progressive legislation. Gary Gensler is more than likely going to get fired. I mean, the massive news is everywhere.
It's funny.
Why you yelling?
I know.
Why not yell, man?
Yesterday, he had a very important appointment yesterday. I know that's why he's yelling. Robin knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know what? Why don't you go take a look at the markets? Go ahead.
All right. So
calm yourself down there a little bit, guy.
Let's take a look. Altcoins. Well, first of all, everything is in the green. It's probably a good day to take a look at the crypto bubbles. I mean, this says it all. There's no red green anywhere. Everything.
Even Hex is up.
Yeah. Good.
Don't buy Hex.
So on the day, you can look on the week, there is a little red in the market, but I mean, on the day, green across the board. And then to take a look, what is leading the way? I know we touched on this earlier. It's been spearheaded by DeFi. There is some meme coins in here. You got Popcat up 23%, but still down on the week. But it's just very interesting. I do think that we've seen meme coins absolutely crush it after Bitcoin has moved up. And I do think that there's going to be a laggard effect here. So perhaps, getting some exposure to meme coins might not be a bad idea at this point because they haven't quite yet moved in the same way that other sectors have. And I think that is going to be a laggard effect. So Dogecoin up 16% on the 24 hours and the week. Also, Cardano back at that 35 cents at 7%. If you were to compare Cardano versus Solana, which I think that I would expect from this point forward, we're going to have very comparable movements. Take a look at Solana up 13% at $187, up 8% on the week. Solana's up 8% on the week. Cardano is still flat on the week. I am expecting Cardano to make up some ground on Solana. What do you think about Solana versus Cardano? Do you think Cardano catches up? I think that the two share very strong communities that love to pile in on bullish sentiment. And what more bullish sentiment can you need besides today's massive news across the board?
What we talk about all the time, right? ADA is very retail driven, and retail is just not.
Yeah, I think 39 cent Cardano is probably within the next 48 hours. I think that we get a massive bump up in Cardano. This might be one of my favorite short-term plays out of the top, say, 20. Out of the top 20, I think Cardano is going to perform the best from today forward up until Friday. So,
can we talk about Polkadot? It is just cannot move.
Polkadot, the outside of XRP and Toncoin, I mean, Polkadot is right there in lackluster performance. Down on the week still. I think it just represents that the community interest, new community members, new money coming in from retail just isn't there for Polkadot. The narrative that, Gavin Wood, which was one of the, Ethereum founders, split off and started Polkadot, was very bullish for the chain. It caught a lot of community, but, in stark contrast, you look at Charles Hoskinson, he's been very outspoken. He's been the leader of Cardano's community, any new protocol upgrades, hard forks, the vision, partner, going out and talking to other nation states, partnerships with Argentina, South Africa. I know that might not have materialized in the way that people had hoped, but you know what? Hasn't stopped them from going and having the discussions. And I think with the lack of leadership in Polkadot from Gavin Wood, I think that is what suppressed the price. In stark contrast, you have Cardano, which the network just keeps growing. It's getting faster, and we're big Cardano fans here, so pretty bullish on that. And then, everything's green, so pretty bullish here. And then we do got a super chat just came in. We have Raj. He says, any thoughts on predictions on HBAR? And
is that $450?
I'm not sure what currency that is, but yeah. But what do you think about HBAR? I think HBAR is in a prime location as well.
Where's HBAR?
I think it's kind of on the outside looking in with the retail interest.
HBAR is sub 5 cents, right? So you look at its all-time high, it got up to, 50 cents?
It is up 7% on the day. Still flat on the week. So
I think the one thing HBAR's got going for it, it's got multiple things going for it, right? The technology is great. The team is really good. They got the RWA narrative. But what do we always talk about, Robin? Institutions, right? Institutions, they're going to come in. They're going to do this and that. Well, who's got the most ties to institutions via the governing council? Hedera, right? Got some of the biggest names in all of just business that is in part of their governing council. And so when these companies and the friends of these companies start to say, hey, look, we're looking to adopt some blockchain technology. What can we do? Oh, hey, guys, I'm part of the Hedera Governing Council. We have some money here. You want to build something? Here you go. And so I think it's got that going for it. I wouldn't write Hedera off. As far as I don't even want to give it a price prediction, but you're 10x away from previous all-time highs. And you just got to ask yourself a very simple question. Will it at least get back to the last all-time high? If the answer is yes, it's an easy buy.
Yeah.
It's an easy 10x.
Yeah, I'm like 50-50 on Hedera as far as being the blue chip layer one, massive performance this bull market. It has everything it needs. It's just it hasn't got that retail kind of FOMO, right? It caught a lot of retail money last bull market. Will we see it come back around? I would lean more towards yes. I really like the project, what they stand for. I think we were talking about doing another HBAR video, another Hedera video, maybe we pull the trigger on that. What do you think? Oh, HBAR video?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm taking a look at the rest of the market down the list here. Again, Lido up 30%. One that I would have my eye on if you want to make a deep in play is this. Arweave. So, in the Crypto Almanac that's coming very soon, we're actually going to open up pre-orders here in the next few weeks or so. Arweave, I believe, got the best ranking when we did the top 100, when I did the top 100 ranking, right? Had the best tokenomics, security, decentralization, and scalability and community. And so you want to take a look at who's got, I would call this perfect tokenomics. 100% in supply, no big unlocks. You have a max capped supply, and the token utility is great within Arweave and also within the AO supercomputer, right? The one that the Arweave team built. And so this is one where if it moves, it's going to move fast. You take a look at its yearly high; it got up to $50. Its all-time high, it got up to around $76. And so I think this is a project. It's sitting at a market cap of around $1 billion. If DePIN takes off like I think it is, and not only DePIN, but it's got the AI narrative too. You take a look at maybe a 20x to $20 billion. Pretty damn good. $300 Arweave. And so there are so many opportunities. Here's the thing. There's so many opportunities still in the cryptocurrency market. You take a look at something like, I know I joke about XRP, but you take a look at something like XRP, 53 cents. You take a look at something like Cardano, 36 cents. Avalanche, still sub $30. Chainlink, sub $12. Sui's had a big run up. Uniswap, right, with their Unichain. sub $10. You're talking about a $5.5 billion market cap project. This is the largest DEX in the entire world. It's been surpassed by Radium and Jupiter a couple times, but Uniswap still is far and away the lead. Near Protocol, you have newcomers like Aptos, like Sui. You got BitTensor sitting at $500. I mean, ICP, sub $8 with everything they're doing. I mean, there's still so many good opportunities. You have artificial superintelligence. That is sitting at a $3.5 billion market cap. Caspa at 11 cents. And so you can go down the list and just create a thesis for yourself as to why you believe that the price is going to go up. And you'll make money. So, Rocco, do I have to thank any sponsors today?
No.
No sponsors today. You know what? Instead of thanking sponsors, I'm going to thank you, the community. If you're tuning in, watching, we appreciate you. All of you that have been with us for an extended period of time, and all of you that are joining us recently, thank you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, ping a notification bell. We are going to be ramping up our content here on this channel as prices start going up or retail starts coming in, and more information is needed for people to be able to discern the noise from the actual signals of how to make money. And so we'll be doing more of that. So you won't know when the videos come out unless you're subscribed and you ping a notification bell. Also go follow us on X at Sin City Crypto 1. With that being said, go. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. And God, Jimmy with the final, before I tornado us out of here, super chat, $100 from Big Jimmy said, fix the club already. This is my final super chat until it is reopened.
I'm trying, Jimmy. I'm trying.
We're upgrading so many things.
Jimmy,
at the bottom of the list, but
Jimmy,
I'll get it going.
If I had a camera, I can zoom in everything we've changed. You don't understand, but yes, I'll leave that to Rob. We'll see you guys tomorrow, guys. Same place, same time.
Jimmy, I'm trying.
New beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting folks